Well, good afternoon, my friends and church family. This afternoon, I want to do things a little bit differently for our Midweek Connection. Today, it was going to be less of a devotional and more of an informational post. Recently, the subject of human trafficking has re-entered public awareness in the U.S., and for that, I am very thankful. Now, that might sound strange. Why am I thankful that people are talking about human trafficking? Well, it's because this is an evil that has existed for thousands of years, and it has only increased in its insidiouscy and its secrecy. So by us talking about it, we are going to be shedding light on what it is, what it looks like, and hopefully how we can be part in preventing it. Because again, human trafficking has existed for a long time, and there have always been those who are fighting against it. Maybe you are someone who you have been doing this for a long, long time. You know about it, and you're supporting the cause. Maybe you're someone that just recently, in the past few months, that you've started really kind of digging into it. Wherever you might be in your learning and understanding of it, this is something that we should all be aware of. Now, back in 2009, I was a pastoral intern at a church in Ponca City, Oklahoma. And while there, we organized an evening of prayer for and education concerning the evil of human trafficking and child exploitation. We were honored to have Dr. Joanne Lyon, the founder and CEO of World Hope International, to be our main speaker for the evening. Now, long before the issue of human trafficking was really in the national headlines for the U.S., Dr. Lyon, she was traveling around the globe, and she was going into war-torn regions, into abandoned communities, and into the dark pockets of the world that were teeming with forced labor and prostitution. That evening, Dr. Lyon, she shared accounts of brothel raids where people would go in to a brothel and rescue young boys and girls. Rescuing women and children from forced labor camps. And she talked about the increasing worldwide presence of human trafficking and what we should be doing and can be doing to help prevent that and be aware of it. As she spoke of these things and the fight for good, I found myself kind of feeling helpless and almost hopeless. It seemed like the battle was almost entirely uphill. I mean, human trafficking, it has links to drug trafficking, to organized crime, to terrorism, and to so many more industries in the world. Human trafficking, it is a multi-billion-dollar global industry. How can we fight back against large international trafficking organizations? Now, the answer to that question, it's multifaceted. It requires hard work and lots of perseverance, a lot of dedicated people. But it starts in a place of beautiful simplicity. How do we fight against this overwhelming evil? My friends, it starts simple. We must learn to and continually love our neighbors as ourselves. I mean, we read about that in Mark chapter 12, verse 31. It is a part of our Old Testament scriptures as well. It's from Leviticus 19:18. Love your neighbor as yourself. Evil, like that of human trafficking, it thrives in darkness by preying on people in moments of crisis, by taking advantage of those in poverty, and by exploiting the vulnerable through fear and intimidation. And it requires certain people, those who know right from wrong, those who can do something about it, it requires them to be silent about it. Now, while the recent focus has been on what is happening in the U.S., this is a global issue. And most of the time, funding happens globally. They start somewhere else where it's a lot easier to exploit people, and then they make their way into the United States. Human trafficking is a global issue that affects basically every nation in the world. So today I want to give you a common example of how easy it is to disappear someone into human trafficking. Here's an example. A young single mother, and she has a small child. She has no hopes, really, of earning a living wage in the small village where she is. And she accepts an offer to be a live-in nanny in the city nearby. The promise of a livable wage, a better home for her child and herself, the offer of her child being able to attend an actual school. These are things that any parent would hope for. And so in hope, she travels to that city. With excitement, her and her child go to meet with the company that will offer her employment as a nanny. And then her family, they never hear from her or her child again. It's offers like that to people like that, in those kind of situations, that makes human trafficking so successful. It's where evil people prey on the hopes of those who long for a better tomorrow. And that is what brings me to the why of when we ask the question, what can we do? Why it's so multifaceted, like I mentioned a moment ago. It's multifaceted because to fight against human trafficking, it means that we need to be preventing it, not just being aware of it. We must be working to prevent it. It means helping people lift themselves out of systemic poverty, being able to allow people to be entrepreneurs. It means working to change laws, international laws, to prevent labor exploitation. It's providing resources for those who have been rescued from trafficking so that they can start living an actual life again and not fall back into what they were trapped in before. And there's so many more things, so many other things that need to be and must be talked about when discussing how do we rid the world of the evil of human trafficking, but the majority of it has to do with prevention so that evil people can't prey on the hopes and dreams of people, because those hopes and dreams can actually be realized. Now, for most of us, for the people that I know that I'm speaking to right now, for us, being aware of the evil of human trafficking, it is just the start. If all people do is make social media posts about it, but it doesn't go any further than that, then nothing is really being accomplished. We need to be educated with factual information. One of the reasons why people love to talk about conspiracy theories, and there are tons of them about human trafficking, but one of the reasons why they like to focus on conspiracy theories and what ifs is because then they don't actually have to do anything about it. But my friends, human trafficking, child exploitation, these things are real and they are happening now. Every state in the U.S. is touched by it. In the description, I'm going to post some links so you can hopefully learn about what human trafficking is from people who are actually experts, because I'm not an expert in any way. That way you can learn about what it is, how it happens, and how you can help fight against it. Once you have learned about it a little bit, and once you are learning more and more about human trafficking, I would encourage you, find a way to support Find a way to support those long-standing organizations that have been fighting human trafficking for a while. When giving financially to whatever organization you might be giving to, especially those dealing with human trafficking or these large, complex, global issues, I would encourage you, if you're going to give financially, be sure to use resources to verify that those who you are donating to are legitimate organizations and not something that someone just set up and that they're receiving the direct benefit of your giving. Check out their charities or their nonprofits on sites like give.org, charitynavigator.org, and for U.S.-based nonprofits, you can even use irs.gov. And the sites like these, they will usually give you a breakdown of how nonprofits spend that money, on whether or not it's going toward administration or whether it's actually going to programs that prevent or help recover from human trafficking. I bring all of this up, and we're doing things again a little differently today, but I bring all of this up because tomorrow, July 30th, is the World Day Against Trafficking in Persons. Hopefully, you will see something on your social media about it. There might even be a small blip in the news. But my friends, as followers of Christ, we should not be silent or complacent to evils like these. Just because they haven't personally affected your family doesn't mean they haven't affected the family of God, for we are all one body. We should not be misled by conspiracy theories or go down rabbit trails that lead to nothing but dead ends and frustration, but instead, we should do what Christians have done for thousands of years. For the past 2,000 years, When we learn of evil, we fight against evil. We bear light and drive back the darkness. Psalm 82, verses 3 through 4. We are to give justice to the weak and to the fatherless, maintain the right of the afflicted and the destitute. We are to rescue the weak and the needy and deliver them from the hands of the wicked. If the fight against human trafficking is something that interests you, I would encourage you to check out the links that I provided in the description. Learn, read, grow, and do. My friends, thank you for giving me a few moments of your time. I pray that you go in peace and have a blessed day.